Thank you so much for joining My So-Called Disabled Life. I am your host, Chaundra McGill, a motivational speaker and certified life coach for the disabled. I would like to introduce to you today a very special guest, Alyssa Mazur. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad. Now, this is called My So-Called Disabled Life, and the majority of our viewers or interviewers have been disabled. Are you in that population?
I have been in that population for 23 years in May. It will be 23 years in May.
Okay, and what specifically are you battling with?
I have multiple sclerosis.
Tell us a little bit about your experiences with multiple sclerosis.
Well, I was diagnosed very young. I was 16. And I'm lucky that I have the best medical team. But experiences, I've had what are called episodes where something will be affected and it has stopped me from being able to play sports. I was a huge athlete, but it has caused my eyes to not focus properly. My legs don't work normally. I walk with a walker now. It's just been tough.
Right.
But what doesn't kill me makes me stronger.
Exactly. And it hasn't stopped you as far as your education is concerned. What is your background?
My background is that I have a bachelor's in sociology. And I was going to get a master's in social work, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to utilize the sociology because I love studying groups. So I do have an MA in interdisciplinary studies with an emphasis in social work and then also sociology.
Very interesting. So you were very, very educated, and we're here to talk about something a new idea to me called health literacy. Exactly what is that?
Honestly, health literacy is knowing how to make the proper health decisions, but a lot of people don't know that. So it's a form of advocacy to make sure that you get what you want and what you need from professionals. But a lot of people don't even know what it is that they want or what they need.
Wow. So why is health literacy so important?
Because health literacy is what will keep somebody from being like, I have this pain in my hip, and they don't necessarily know what they did. That wasn't a good example. Better example, I don't know.
That's just fine. That's fine. But it sounds like a new concept to me. Am I right? Has the term or the idea of health literacy been around for a while?
It has been around since 1974.
Okay, wow. So this is not a new concept.
No, but a lot of people don't know about it. Again, a lot of people, if they go to the doctor, and I do say if because a lot of people don't actually go to the doctor. If they go to the doctor, a lot of times they don't know what kind of questions to ask or what to listen to or listen for when the doctor is speaking to them and speaking Japanese to them.
Right.
It is something that it's been around, but people don't utilize it.
It sounds like it's a communication barrier, was what it sounds like.
It is. And that is also why, 9 out of 10 adults actually struggle to understand what they're learning from doctors.
Wow.
And that can either be because of their age, because of if they're in the minority population, there's language barriers. So, minority, Black, Hispanic.
90%.
Yeah.
So why do you think there is a disparity with these populations? Like, I understand with the language, because we talked about, it's like a communication problem. But what does being a minority have anything to do with it? Or your socioeconomic status?
That's the thing. Is if you look at the schemas and the systemic difficulties, that is why. Because also in the culture, say the Black culture, a lot of the times people don't go to doctors. They don't feel comfortable going to the doctors.
Right.
Or in the hospital, if you are a minority, you're not treated the same as if you are white. Unfortunately, I hate that, but it's true. It's the white privilege,
which is systemic. It's just systemic, and it's oozed into so many indelible places that we can't even go on about politics, education, money. I mean, it's just a huge social ill. But how can we promote this health literacy, especially to minority populations? But even going back to that, because you said 90% of adults don't really understand it. So it's not just a minority problem. It's more of a problem in minority, communities. But how do we promote it? How do we get folks on board so they can have an advocate or be their own advocate?
Unfortunately, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So you can tell somebody, make sure that you keep your communication open with your doctor. Make sure that you go and look online. Don't go on to, WebMD and try to diagnose yourself kind of online. But people, I almost feel like people are scared because they feel as if by asking a question, people will, like their doctor or whomever they're talking to, is going to assume that they're stupid. But there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Right.
But it's just that people don't, I don't know. I mean, it's not something that I don't think it's something that can be taught, to be totally honest.
Okay.
I'm lucky because of the fact that I've had to advocate for myself for 23 years. And until my mother passed away when I was 17. So then I started advocating for myself. And I'm not afraid to ask questions. And I feel that people are really afraid to ask questions.
Right.
And that is where the health literacy will come in. Like, you can go to all these websites, to the CDC website or the Agency for Healthcare Research. I mean, you can do stuff like that. But being in the situation is the best way to learn.
Right. Now, do you think that it would be helpful for people to actually go to the doctor with someone else?
Absolutely. I was just going to say that. You totally just took the words right out of my mouth. Because if you go to the doctor and say you're going to go and talk about having pain in your side that you think is that you're having appendicitis, but the doctor will tell you something and you will hear it one way, the other person will hear it the other way.
Exactly. I completely can understand that and relate to that, because when I had to have brain surgery and they basically told me my options, that I had 2 weeks to live and I didn't have a choice but to go under for brain surgery. After I heard that, I blocked out. My mind spaced out and I was thinking, oh my God. And I didn't hear anything that he had to say.
Of course.
I remember my mother and him talking, but I don't remember what they were talking about. And the next thing I know, I just burst into tears. And in that situation, there's no way the gravity of the situation was just too high stakes for me to be even rational about it. But that's an extreme situation.
That's not necessarily extreme, though. Like, it reminds me of when I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and I was at the hospital. And I'm sitting in the hospital after I went for an MRI, and all of a sudden a troop of doctors come marching into my room. I'm 16, and I remember when they're like, "You have relapse remitting multiple sclerosis." And that was all I heard. And I hopped off the bed and I went into the bathroom and got my stuff. I came out and I'm like, "Mom, I want to go home." I didn't want to hear anything else. I was just told, there's my death sentence. I want to go home. I want to go back to life. But this is the death sentence, and I just don't want to hear anything else.
Right. I understand. And I can completely relate to that experience. Well, is there any way that a person can equip themselves anymore or go somewhere to learn about health literacy? What if someone really wants to be proactive and really wants to get involved and has that desire? What are the steps they should take?
Well, these days, because everything is on the computer now, you can search for health literacy, and it'll give you suggestions or places to go to. But granted, not every doctor is going to be the best communicator with a patient. But the first step is to just ask the doctor, ask the nurse, ask the people at the hospital, because they know their stuff. They're in the hospital. They know a little bit, just a little bit.
Right.
So, that would be my suggestion, is to just be vocal. And if you want to know something, don't be scared to ask. There's no such thing as a stupid question.
Great. That's perfect. Well, thank you so much, Alyssa. I really appreciate you joining us and telling our audience about health literacy. I hope you have a wonderful day. And will you be joining us on the show in the future?
Are you having me on the show in the future? Would you like to? Because I would love to be here.
Great. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You as well.
Thank you.